My name is J. Daniel Atlas. Like he's so like TikToker with it.
Well, more so in this film.
Um, maybe, but he's also got like I'm old now, so I'm gonna be grumpy.
Yeah, from the trailers, he seems more tame.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I recently rewatched Now You See Me Too, and it's a movie.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's so sad. I have like such fond memories of it, but I really, if I had to boil it down, it's multiple things. It's the card scene, which as a kid, you're like, well, this is the coolest thing on the planet. Like,
Some
I don't
kids.
care. What?
Some kids. I watched
Did you
that.
not think that scene was
Yeah,
cool?
like when I first saw it, I was still like, this is awful.
Oh, and I regret to inform you, but my letterbox review for that movie is it's a red flag. I don't trust people who don't think that scene is
It's
cool.
horrendous.
Sorry, if your first thought at that scene is, well, this isn't realistic.
No, that's not what it
Fuck
was.
off. Okay,
I
okay.
think it's just so like egregiously CGI that it's just
Fair.
it, like it kind of hurts the eyes a bit, and maybe because I like there's some ridiculous stuff in those films already, but I think when they're ridiculous, it's because they're just thinking out of the box, and it's something that you definitely could not do in real life. Not saying you could do that card scene in real life, but you could do like card stuff in real life. So it lends itself to being like uncanny valley when you're watching a CGI card fly about.
Okay, I mean, I get that, but maybe it's because the movie's so bad surrounding it that that scene just stands out. In my
Maybe.
head, though, as well, I have thought about the opening and closing shots of that scene far more than anybody should. Because in my head, I was like, Morgan Freeman's voiceovering the movie, and it's like the shot of a staircase, but the staircase makes an eye. Like, genuinely, when I was a kid, I was like, cinema. Absolute cinema, this is.
The opening
It's
closing
great.
shot
Anyway,
of Now You See Me Too.
Now You See Me Too. Yep, that's correct.
The fact that you can remember the opening and closing shots of Now You See Me Too.
Dude, I have a like insane brain for this. I'll walk past the TV and I know what's playing. I don't like
I get that. I do have that. The remembering the opening and closing shots of Now You See Me Too, I do not have.
that's a skill reserved for the magicians among us. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, welcome back to Plot to Go, episode number 47, I think. My name's
Yeah.
Jack.
My name's Owen.
And this week we are talking about, imagine if we weren't talking about Now You See Me. We're talking about Now You Three Me, otherwise known as Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which should have been the title of the second movie. We're
Yeah, I
all
think.
aware of that.
And then you could have called the third one Now You Three Me.
Now You Three Me, exactly. I'm so curious what they're going to do for the fourth because there will be a fourth. This movie made back 90% of its budget within 2 days. So,
And the budget couldn't have been
yeah.
that high.
No, I wish I had it to hand. I don't know, so I don't. Give me a second, I'll check. Apparently, it made a lot of its money from China. Like these movies do really well in China.
Interesting.
Um, the budget. The budget was 90 million.
Yeah, that's not that big for
It's
a
not.
big film going
It's not
into
not a
big
lot though.
cinemas. No, it's yeah, but it's not. It's still closer to like a mid-level film now than like
Yeah.
the big hitters.
Um, and we'll also be talking about The Running Man, Edgar Wright's The Running Man, starring Glenn Powell. Should
Indeed.
we? What should we start with?
Should I just
Hmm.
uh, like start with The Running Man? I don't know how much I have to say about this
I've
movie.
seen The Running Man as well.
I know, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
how'd you know?
um, you have Instagram and Letterbox.
Oh, sorry, I haven't logged on Letterboxd yet. I forget.
I
I
think
have
you
an
posted it
Instagram.
on Instagram last night.
I did. Yeah,
I think the caption at the top was many thoughts on this.
it was.
So
And underneath it said, Directed by Edgar Wright? Question mark?
Interesting. Yeah, I guess we'll kick off with that one.
Okay.
Um,
I'm quickly putting my phone on charge because it's been out of
Dying.
charge.
Yeah, because your mic is going a bit dodgy again, and I'm assuming that's because of the phone. The phone's struggling,
I
maybe.
hope so.
We hope so. The Running Man. You okay for me to just
Oh,
go?
go fast! Better run fast!
All right.
Wish it was a Sonic movie.
This film is an adaptation of a Stephen King novel by the same name. It's already been adapted to a film, which I don't think I realized until very recently. A film which I have not seen, and I'm assuming you did not watch before going to see this film either.
I have seen some of it.
Did you try and get through it before going to see this one?
I did, and my week has been busy, so I fell asleep
I
watching
see.
it.
Did
Yeah.
you enjoy it? What you saw?
Um, from what I saw a little, it's very. I don't want to just blast like the collective opinion of what I know, but it's regarded as just one of Arnold's 80s movies that didn't really draw an audience.
It's an Arnold movie.
Yes, yes. So people do bang on about Predator and Terminator and why can't I think of any other
Well, because
Arnold
those
movie?
those are like the main ones. I think he was
Jingle
just
All
in a
the
lot
Way.
of like films, but like yeah, those are the two Arnold
But
movies.
he has like franchises that people like would come back to that people would know now. I don't think it's that well regarded at the time. It's like quite middling. And I think it was one of those just put Arnold in a movie. It's also not a good adaptation of the book. It's like very, very loosely an adaptation.
Okay.
Um, so I think the it set this up to be remade because I don't know if you know this, Edgar Wright saw that movie and read the book initially and saw that there was far more to be mined from that book, so wanted to make a more faithful adaptation.
Interesting.
Yep.
So, and the book is based in 2025, which I think you might have told me, um, which is crazy. And I think for that reason, Edgar Wright decided not to put a year on this film because he
Yeah.
says that normally when films do that, they don't do it far enough into the future, which is so right. Because I mean, you sit and you watch like Back to the Future 2, 2015, 10 years on, still don't have my hoverboard. So, The Running Man is about a man, shocker, who finds himself blacklisted from work. Essentially, there's this big corporation, I can't remember what they're called, who I guess own everything
The network.
pretty much. They literally called the network. Great, wonderful naming. I guess that you can just like put whatever you want in place of it. But anyway, they own so much that he's been blacklisted from one place and he can't find work anywhere. Um, so he's trying to get money, and he has a daughter that he needs to look after. She's not doing so hot, and he tries to get that money by
That's a way
by
of putting it. My God.
she's basically dying.
Yeah, she's not doing too hot.
Yeah, to put it lightly. So he's trying to get money by going on reality TV because that's the one thing that the network will allow him to participate in. I guess it's such a huge thing in like this dystopian future. Um, the consumption of media, misinformation, sort of guiding uh, the audience, which is everyone in the country, to sort of be sheep. So it's a form of control, likely the reason that he's allowed to take part in this thing. Um, he girl bosses a little bit too close to the sun, and he ends up on a show called The Running Man, um, instead of any of the other reality TV shows that he could have been on. And he had plans to go on that. His plan is generally to just make money, but he ends up on The Running Man, which is a kill or be killed type of situation. It's last 30 days without being killed, and you earn a large sum of money. A large sum of money in the currency new dollars, which is an
Which,
interesting
if
thing.
you don't know if you caught it because you didn't know it was an Arnold movie, but the new dollars have Arnold's face on them.
Did notice that, wondered why that was a thing.
Okay.
I honestly just took it as maybe, I don't know when the book was written, but he was the governor of California in real life. So I was
Yeah.
like, is this some sort of weird Easter egg connection to that? I totally forgot about that until you brought it up now. It's a very like, this is just a thing, accept it, we move
Yeah.
on. The tone of this film is absolutely fucking wild. Um, it's such a hard thing to pinpoint. I don't know if it knows what it wants to be in different
Mm.
parts of this film. Um, it does comedy and it does a very like serious tone, but seemingly in all of the wrong places. It never seems to, I think, land what it wants to land in the points that it wants to land it. For example, there's a point at the very beginning of this film where Glenn Powell is like very angry. He's an angry man, and he like slams a table, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm an angry man," and it's really funny. And I don't know if it's trying to be that or not at that point in the film. And there's a lot of instances like that throughout.
Mm.
The one section that I do think balances the tone tremendously, and I think you might agree, is the Michael Cera part. That whole bit,
Oh.
I really enjoy. I
Huh.
really like his character, and I think it's a great place to have comedy in a film that I don't think needed to have as much comedy as it did.
Huh.
Um, in terms of tone, it's such a weird thing to watch this film and kind of hate the way that it balances it because we, I think, are big fans of the Hunger Games, and that is something that does a dystopian future nice, and it manages to kind of do all of the goofy sides of it. You've got like Caesar on stage,
Yeah.
but it plays it in such a way where you're disgusted by it,
Mhm.
and you can still laugh along at the ridiculousness of it, but most of it is the heaviness, and I don't think this film manages to land that at all. Um,
And I think it doesn't have to be heavy, like what you're saying. Like just because the world is dreary and bleak, like doesn't
sure,
necessarily mean that the film has to match that. And although the Hunger Games is not like hyper comedic, it's also not void of any comedy. And I think a really apt comparison is, oddly enough, another Stephen King movie book like adaptation that came out this year, The Long Walk, which is the exact same core premise about like oppression from upper classes and working class people having to fight to get out of their situation. And the way that they do that is by competing on something that will get them killed or they will survive and win a lot of money. But there's far more nuance to that. Sorry, that's I guess that's a different thing, which I assume we will get to at some point. But tonally, with that movie, you have these group of guys that are laughing. It's a really funny movie. They're
mhm.
able to like throw jokes at each other, while there's also the most graphic violence
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you've seen. Like in any of these three movies, it's it's able to handle that tonal balance far more. Whereas here, I think within each scene, kind of what you're saying, it doesn't know what it wants to be from scene to scene. So each scene
Yeah.
plays differently.
Yep.
I kind of want to go back a tad
Hmm.
and just talk about Edgar Wright holistically, because I think we're both fans of him in general. I think
Yep.
we've both seen all of his filmography as well.
Yeah, it's not that big, and a lot of it is very like Britain focused. Um, so I think, I mean, I just personally grew up with it. I don't know about
Hmm.
you.
I didn't actually. Um, the Cornetto trilogy was a later thing, like my late teens, I guess. Honestly, one of the first movies that got me into movies like properly was Baby Driver, and I think from there it was like Back the Way, and then now
Crazy.
like Scott Pilgrim, Crazy what? Crazy Good, Crazy
Going back
Weird.
the way,
Oh
but you
yeah, I
managed
know,
to
I
miss
know.
all the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, it just like I was like an infant, do you know, when the Cornetto trilogy, like the Cornetto trilogy wasn't my thing, and
The
I think
World's
it
End
was.
came out when you were like 12.
No, yeah, but Shaun of the Dead came out when I was 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's the only one that came out when you were that young, though. That's when
Well,
it
yeah,
started.
yeah, exactly. So I wasn't like in it, and also I feel like I just my like friends in high school and I just don't think it was like, or in primary school, it wasn't the right demographic
Yeah,
for
yeah.
whatever it may be. Anyway, watched all his movies. Scott Pilgrim, one of my favorite movies of all time, and I quote it to this day. Bread makes you fat, but loved his style. I mean, I've made a video essay about him.
Uh-huh.
I adore his like editing and stuff. Um, so I think we both have reverence for him. I don't know. This doesn't feel like an Edgar Wright movie to me.
I have that written down.
And oh, really?
This has none
But
of Edgar Wright's fingerprints.
see, I wouldn't go as far as to say that because I think there's like glimmers of it, but that is more like jarring to me. And I think that comes back to the like tonal thing where like there's pockets of this like classic humor, this like quippiness, this zaniness that I think is attached to all of his movies, maybe bar Last Night in Soho. Even though I don't like that movie, but I still think that that has a that you can tell that that's directed by Edgar Wright.
Hmm.
This has like little pockets of like their Cornetto trilogy humor, Scott Pilgrim, The Baby Driver, that kind of stuff hidden in there. There's a point in the movie where we meet somebody and they're like a YouTuber, and it goes to like YouTube like edited videos, and I think there it's like, oh, I'm watching an Edgar Wright movie because it's that kind of like camp of humor
I
and
never
tone.
felt that there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel so like modern and like I that felt closer to is it John Watts that directs the Spider-Man trilogy? Closer to
Yeah.
that maybe than to Edgar
Yeah.
Wright. I can see how those things are similar, but that strikes me more as like a, the PowerPoint at the start of some of the Spider-Man movies.
Well, yeah, because there's something to compare to that feels like a direct comparison.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
but I
the
don't think
the
the
tone,
still
you wouldn't
no.
even say that.
Wait,
Oh,
well,
okay, that's
sorry.
interesting.
Thing is, Scott Pilgrim is one of your favorite films, so I will give you that on the premise that it's probably quite close to the maybe the style of Scott Pilgrim, as opposed to maybe where I'm basing a lot of my stuff on being more Cornetto
Cornell
trilogy because I
trilogy.
don't think it's very close to that sort of comedy.
It's not even like I don't necessarily mean it's directly comparison because it's not. It feels still a different thing, but I just feel like it has a more like directorial flourish that feels in line. Like you could draw a through line through his work with that kind of stuff. Whereas like in large part, this entire movie feels just generic, and
I
um,
agree.
I think the tone being all over the place is a result of like a few different things. To move away from the tone, I think this is edited horrendously, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Hmm.
It's 2 hours 20, I think,
It's
and I
really
think
long.
it's really long. It does not need to be that long, or should be a TV show, like one of the two. Um, but it's edited so frenetically because it wants to keep that pace up, that like, oh, he's on the run. And I think it all just falls flat because you're like going from person to person, side character to side character. You're never really spending enough time with any of them or like getting a real sense for how this is affecting Glenn Powell. And I think in an effort to keep that pace up, it's devoid of like being cohesive. And I think
For
because
sure.
you are flipping about so much, and all these things kind of have like different tones, it just kind of doesn't fit together right.
Not cohesive, and then also um like there's no weight to anything. There is, I admittedly still felt like a level of stress, I think, in the earlier days of him running, because just didn't know what was going to happen at all. Um, but like he meets all these characters that are so thinly written, and
Yeah.
there's nothing to them. Um, like everything along the way, there's like the black market guys, like the family that help him. There's the girl in car. Like there's all of these people
Rich
that,
girl with a heart.
yeah, yeah, and they all get like so few lines, and there's not a lot to them. And shockingly, actually, girl in car might have the same amount of lines as the others, even though she's in the film for much longer. Um, yeah, like yes, it's edited quickly, and then that doesn't lend itself to um, yeah, there's no suspense. Like it's trying to keep pace, and you don't feel any of it. But had they chose to then not do that, there's no there's no depth there in any form, which
Yeah.
I guess they could have developed, but there, as it stands, there wasn't.
I
So it's
think
just failing everywhere.
very early on, you learn the premise of the movie, and then you realize the situation that he's in, and you're like, okay, I understand, given the world that we're living in as well, what this movie is trying to say. Evil, bad man, people up top in the upper classes are oppressing the people below, and the only way to get out is to like fight, like for their entertainment, blah, blah, blah. Every single situation he gets in, it is just reinforcing the same message. It is never going into it into more depth. I think the characters are thinly written, but the situations that he's in as well are super thinly written. Like towards the end, like that girl in the car doesn't realize that the people who are the network that is putting on this show is actually falsifying stuff to create narratives and to um, make people feel a certain way about Ben Richards, like Glenn Powell, who's running. And through the course of an insane action sequence, she will learn that they do, in fact, falsify and make things up. And she's going to become a revolutionary. Like everything was doing the same thing. Like even though they were all different sorts of people, Michael Cera, this revolutionary guy. Sorry, I want to bring up another issue with the movie.
Mhm.
Is that I think this movie should have been far more self-contained and a more individual story. The entire time you're told Ben Richards is an angry man, and I don't think this is the fault of Glenn Powell, but it is so one note that I think his performance, he's a charming, charismatic man. Like I enjoyed him enough as like a action protagonist in this. But it does come off as just false when every single scene they're beating you over the head with "You're angry," or like what's his face? Thanos. Why am I blanking on his name?
Josh
Josh Brolin.
Brolin,
It's like, "You're the angriest man I've ever seen. You're gonna go all the way." Like it's just reinforce you're angry, and that's the one note he's given. And then I actually think the movie doesn't support that because it tries to be like comedic and whatever at certain bits. Anyway, this whole movie is surrounding him, and he ends up being like this chosen one. Like, you're going to lead the revolution that's going to inspire people to fight back against their oppressors and bloody blah blah blah. And I think that was just such a poor move, the movie, because it should have just been what the movie started as this desperate father trying to do something to get his family out of poverty and like to help his sick kid, instead of like it feels so generic that every single dystopian movie falls into this, where it's like one person stands up against people and suddenly everybody's inspired and they all understand it. there's a moment in this movie where there's leaflets that are made that are exposing the truth, and we're led to believe that that's going to like inspire people to like rise up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, maybe this played decades ago in a book, but considering, well, I don't know, because that also, World War II had just happened. So I don't know. But like we're living very, very plainly, like there's a one-to-one comparison with this. It's not subtle at all. And there are people who are trying to do the like revolutionary thing and people who are trying to inform people and stand up, and it doesn't work. It's not working in our world.
Oh,
So
for sure.
why
Like
does it work here?
the
Like,
world we live in, we still can get the truth out, and
yeah,
people will read the truth and not believe it. And they're living in a world where like there's complete control pretty much, and they're constantly fed misinformation. And the idea that you can shoot out a couple of leaflets, some people will read them and have their whole world broken is a bit mental. It doesn't land.
yeah.
It doesn't track, basically. It is absolutely shocking.
And
Um,
it's a shame because I think the story itself to start with is interesting. Like this world is interesting. I just don't think it plays in it enough for it. I think it tries to go
I,
too grand with its ideas.
I honestly wasn't even interested from the start. Because it does we're like in a dystopian reality, and it's so dystopian. It's not like an underlying thing. It's a very like um, it's trying to go for the visuals too, and also like a quirk. I can appreciate that it's trying to go for the quirk of like it's showing the reality TV, and it's trying to like do these kind of like show how crazy it is in these crazy game shows, which I think was what was expected once upon a time, especially in the 90s as we look forward to the 2000s. And um, there was like a track for that to happen. There were some mental reality TV shows in the early 2000s, like that one where people couldn't sleep and then they would win money. Um, but like it wasn't a world that I was all that interested in, so it needed something to grip me, and I think it juggles so much, and I don't think it knows what to do with any of it. The reality TV, capitalism, misinformation, race, class, wealth, like it touches on all these things, and I don't think it has a straight up message about any of them. And yeah, like you said, it does the whole um the chosen one thing. I'm sick of the chosen one thing. Uh, and again, we
I
can one-to-one comparison it with other dystopian films, and it didn't need to be that. And I think it races to the point where the chosen one is like successful. Like the whole leaflets landing and it like breaking the sort of sleepwalk of the nation, um, and like in large part within at least a small group. Like it's mental.
it's interesting. I think in dystopian media, what some dystopian media gets right is how revolutions start, and it's often through people who are unwilling. Like it is not planned. It's not a planned revolution. It's often like through the it's an outcome through the
Hmm.
decisions made by a person,
Hmm.
and often when they are put to be like a figurehead or like whatever, they don't want it. That's not what their mission was. I think what this gets wrong and what other dystopian media gets wrong is a person being like, I will, like, I'm gonna be a revolutionary now. When I don't know, there's a lot. I don't want to get too
He
into
is
it
sort of
because
forced into that, to be fair.
he, I would agree. I don't want to spoil the movie. I would agree he's forced into that. But then the ending, it's like, duh, 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 like, d- do
It's
you
too
know?
action, man.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil much, so I'm not going to.
Great, thanks for that. Do you have something you want to add there, or
I was gonna say about like how he was forced into things, but we can skim
that's
past
fine?
that. I do want to talk. This will lead positive, but we'll start off negative. I think they like characterized their villain wrong because he wasn't in the movie enough. I think he there's like this overlord, for lack of a better word, of the network that is the main antagonist of the movie, and that is who Ben Richards has this like beef with and is like really gunning for the entire time because he's the person that he's angry at. He's made this situation for everybody. And Josh Brolin is not in the movie enough. He's on a green screen probably for 90% of his scenes as well. So it does not make him a compelling villain. And you could have made a compelling villain if you replaced Coleman Domingo and Coleman, I love you, uh, and
Yeah,
I love
what?
your performance in this movie. Coleman is the best part of this movie, probably,
I
but
probably.
He doesn't need to be in the movie, or get rid of Josh Brolin and just make it Coleman Domingo. But like Coleman Domingo, for those who haven't seen the movie, is a host of The Running Man, and he hosts the live segments, kind of like the Caesar Flickerman. He's that kind of type of character, and he's disillusioned by this entire scenario. And I don't want to spoil where his story goes, but my God, what um ending for his character! I think that was shockingly written. But if you made, and this is apparently in the original movie, this is how it is. You make the network the host of the show because it's their arrogance and their like need for attention that is they've concocted this show up. If you do that, then you get more of the villain. You get him lurking and spying on Ben Richards the entire time, and I think that makes him way more compelling.
I mean, fair enough. I don't know how to save this movie. I did not enjoy this at all. I maybe
Oh,
that would have done
you
it.
really didn't like it?
No, I think at the time I was kind of like, and I just keep severing on it more and more. Um, yeah, I think it was just a poor job all around, to be honest. Um,
I will say, I think Edgar Wright is a really competent action director. I think he directs action very, very well. Where like seldom other like large action blockbustery movies like this get action scenes as well directed. It just it's enjoyable to watch. There is a sequence in the middle that I think is the highlight of the movie. I know you said you really like the Michael Cera scene. I'm actually a little confused about that. I do want to circle back on it. Um, I think the motel scene is the best scene in this movie. Is it because Glenn Powell's in a towel that is way too short? Hey, I don't know. But I genuinely do. I think that sequence is a lot of fun, and I think that's what the tone of the movie should have been. This like guy who's stumbled his way into this, and it is like just lean into the comedy. That's what you want this to be. Don't do this like larger than life um story where you're like trying to concoct a revolution and stuff. Like I think that's what falls flat.
so I was thinking back on that when I was writing my notes, and I don't think that scene landed so much for me. I see
Oh
why it
really?
would. I did laugh at the
Yeah,
why
him in a
part.
towel.
Uh, just
The
the why
why
joke.
got a great
Yeah,
laugh out of me.
to be fair, that said right, I think, to me.
Yeah,
Um, the reason I like the Michael Cera bit is I think at that point in the film, all sort of notion of what this film was supposed to be is lost. And so him him being kind of like quirky Michael Cera, but still having like the his revolutionary backstory, which you're not supposed to ask about, and then he gives his little Michael Cera bit, and then there's this fun action sequence in a house. I just really enjoyed, and it's probably for similar
I,
reasons to why you enjoyed the motel bit. It's just an action sequence that was just like a decent moment in a film that was a bit of a mess.
I also really like the Michael Cera scene. Like really, I think those are the like standout scenes of the movie. I just find it interesting that you picked up on that because by that point in the movie, I was like, this is going on forever. Like,
Mm.
so I think there's maybe a few little bits and bobs that happen in between those two like set pieces, but there's a whole like chasm of time where he just wanders. and he like ends up in a place, and then he ends up in and none of it is compelling to watch, and it's like chopped to bits, and I don't know, it really wasn't interesting to me. There is a point that he goes and he watches the other contestants, so he's not the only person on the Running Man. There's multiple people who are doing it at the same time, and they can watch the TV show, and get updates on the other players. You see Katie O'Brien's character, and she's like in a casino, like living it up with like properly partying and stuff. Apparently, now now in those scenes as well, I thought that's where Edgar Wright shone a little bit. Like this is like really comedic and really actiony, like those other set pieces. Apparently, Katie O'Brien had a ton of stuff in this movie that was all cut, and I do
Mm.
wonder if this movie was really long and it has just been cut to bits. Do you know it? It started production like last year, last November.
Started.
Yes, it
So
has
obviously
had an
pre-production
insane.
was a bit before that, but like the actual
Sure,
shooting and everything
yeah.
started in November and ended. Do you know when?
I don't know when, but it has been a very quick turnaround.
That's fucking mental. No wonder it's a bit of a
I
mess.
know.
Like that's no
I think
time.
visually it looks good though. Like the
Does
VFX
it?
never bothered me.
Oh, the
No, no,
VFX
no,
never bothered
no.
me. Oh no, it
VFX.
did. They
Yeah.
did. No, they did. Sorry, I take that back. I think they
Really?
did. Yeah, yeah, but not like it's weird because I think there was enough stunt stuff. So like in terms of, I'm saying they did because I think there's a lot of stuff earlier in the film where there's a lot of like Running Man TVs and stuff, and it looks a bit like Spy Kids 3D.
Oh, sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but aside from that, I don't think I was bothered by any of it because you've got like helicopters. I don't think I had any issues there. I think there have been plenty of VFX towards the end of the film. Like all the drones look fine. You were talking about the motel scene. I'd imagine they did that as much of that, like stunts and actual practical effects. And maybe there was some VFX in there, but yeah, no, I think on as a whole, I wasn't that bothered by it. But at the start, I was.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to come away from this being like I didn't like it because I had a enjoyable time at the movies. Um, I think just when I compare this to, or just knowing it's from Edgar Wright and expecting a little more, this plays to me like a generic blockbuster, and I like it's a very middle of the road. It's inoffensive. I didn't get much out of this. I laughed a couple times. I thought some of the action scenes were cool. If I want to go further, I have a lot of grievances that we've both spoken about, but I think it is fine. Like a straight up like meh.
I think I think fine is too strong for me.
Hmm.
I think I would say bad.
Really
Yeah, I can't. I think there's a level of disappointment, but I also think I I would have enjoyed aspects of it, but like the film ended, and I turned to our friend Samuel and I said, "What do you think? What did you think of that?" And he shrugged his shoulders and went meh. Uh, and I was like, or no, I think the sound was more like, eh.
Yeah, it's more of a Samuel sound.
Yeah, and I was like, I think the more I think about it, the more kind of just like annoyed I am about it, and I don't harbor any grievances against Edgar Wright because I love Edgar Wright. Not only as a director, but he seems like a really cool person. Um, I just, yeah, I think you having said that the production started in November, shines a big light on it, and I did come away thinking that felt like a very generic action film, similar to you, um, which is just really annoying. I don't want to walk away from an Edgar Wright film feeling like that.
This to me, now that we're talking about it a bit more, feels like it could have fit into our like February to April of movies that we had this year, where it was just like one of those movies that we saw and it was whatever. Like
This is,
I
yeah,
think what is worse though, coming from the fact that it's trying to make societal commentary and it is just falling flat in its face. I think that's the thing that's annoying me about the movie.
yeah. I think like it. it doesn't help itself when it tries to do that because then when it comes out as a regular action film and falls short on such large issues, it's almost like even though it's tried to reach for the stars with that, it's kind of brought itself down a bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, not a
Would you
fan.
recommend?
No, I
Hmm,
wouldn't.
I don't think I would either.
I said, to be fair, I said to my dad, it's a very dad movie. I was like, wasn't it? But I think you would still get enjoyment out of it. So I was like,
Yeah.
you should see it.
How you feeling about Glenn Powell? We didn't really talk about him a lot.
I actually wasn't really a fan. I was going to get into
Oh, right,
performances in
okay.
one bit. I mean, to be fair, like what you were saying, he didn't get a lot to do in the film, but I don't think he like saved it necessarily either.
Oh no, yeah.
Um, there was some bits, fair enough, where he's like angry man, and I'm like, you are angry man, and there are other bits where it's not convincing at all.
They should have leaned in. I think that's the problem, is that he's angry man at some points. I wish his character like really leaned in. There's a bit in the trailer where he's like he has to record videos every day and then send them basically so that they know where he is. He's like, I don't want to do this, so I'm gonna take a nap. And he like turns around and he like slaps his ass. And like that's comedy, but still achieving the fact that he's like pissed off and angry.
Yeah.
But then
Hmm.
there's other bits where that falls away, and then he becomes like archetypal, like Chris Pratt in any other blockbuster movie. Whereas like anger falls away, and then it like crops up again and again, and then it crops up really at the ending. But that's because something has forced him to become angrier,
There's a heaviness
and
at the
there's never
ending.
been a base level. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still find him compelling to watch, but again, I wasn't like he didn't
Yeah,
do
maybe.
anything.
Yeah, there's probably enough there. I think he plays the anxiety okay as well, because there is a bit of that in the film,
Yeah.
especially at the start when he's properly doing the running bit. Um,
Oh, very little running. Genuinely,
I mean, it's more of like a metaphor, isn't it?
it's a metaphor for capitalism.
It's a metaphor for capitalism. Brilliant.
Truly. Well, that was the Running Man. If you've seen it, let us know if you liked.
If you've seen it, I'm so sorry.
Oh God,
That's
fuck
really
off.
mean.
That's yeah.
We've seen a lot worse films this year. I think I was just
Yes.
disappointed, and I think that's brought it down.
Yeah. This sits somewhere in the middle of the movies I've seen this year. It's nowhere near the bottom. But oh, actually, since we both seen, where would you rank this in his filmography?
Uh, bottom two.
I kind of thought that.
It's probably
This is
last for
his
me.
second bottom for me. Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
fair. Well, I wish I had a deck of cards for like a transition.
Wait. Oh, they're not even here.
Oh, this what a failed bit.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Can you still hear me? How well can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick these up after I do this.
Oh, you gotta throw it at the camera. Whoa!
Whoa! It's like
Guys,
a
did
bank
you see
card here now.
that? Whoa!
Oh, that's really annoying to look at.
Um, let's talk about Now You Three Me. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I am the only person to have seen this.
Yep.
Owen missed out on this masterpiece. Would just like to say, I want to preface this by talking a little about the cinemas in London. I've spoken about them a little bit on
And
here,
the
but
attitude of the viewers.
oh no, oh I could
Okay.
get into that,
Yeah,
but I
that's where
won't.
that was going.
No, I will just say Scottish viewers are more have more decorum.
Shocking.
Maybe it's. I think it is genuinely because it's a larger city and there are larger screens and there's more people, but some people just don't.
The
I
more people
can't
you
believe
have,
the
the more
worst
likely people
experience I
are.
had.
Sorry.
Exactly. I can't believe the worst experience I had was at one battle after another. And I paid for VistaVision, and there was a guy on his phone next to me the entire time.
That's
Besides the
mental.
point. I know. I'm like, dude, you paid 30 quid to be here. Stay off your phone for 1 second. But then I always think, oh, benefit of the doubt, like maybe they have something going on. But like if you have something going on, step outside. Like just
I went through that whole thought process as you were saying that.
yeah.
I was like, if
uh
someone's dying, you're not sitting in the cinema.
no, um no, I want to speak because I very early on when we did our first like podcast when I'd moved and stuff, I was like, cinemas down here aren't it? Um, like when it comes to like the big like brands and stuff, like the name cinemas. I've been to a lot more cinemas now. I have discovered a Cineworld that is unbelievable, like insane.
Oh, the
So
Beyonce
with
Cineworld.
the Beyonce Cineworld, they were playing non-stop Beyonce in the lobby. That's not the unbelievable thing about it. It has like 17, no, 19 screens, I think. Um, it's inside the O2. So I went the other day and I was just like walking because like the O2, if people don't know London, the O2 is an arena, and around the arena there's like a village, like a faux um like path and shit with restaurants and stuff. And if you walk round, there's a Cineworld as well. It's funny, I was walking into the O2 because it's where you get in, and like the guy's like ushering me to the side, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, your bag." I was like, "Oh, my bag had to go through an X-ray machine just for me to go to the cinema," which was so funny.
At least you know it's a safe
Anyway,
cinema viewing. Fucking hell.
yeah, truly. Um, so you walk in. There's three lobbies. You walk into the first lobby, so like you have the concession stand, and then you have five screens off to the bit. There's an upstairs bit that then also has it has a landing area, and then it also has another massive concessions bit. And then you can walk like quite a distance through like Cineworld. It's got like different posters and screens and whatever, and you reach like another five counters of concessions. It's huge. So I went to the cinema five times. That I've seen a lot there, but screen two. So normally like the lower number of screens are the bigger screens. Screen two, I saw two Pirates of the Caribbean movies there. Um, it it was as big as like our screen seven in Edinburgh. It's like a proper, basically very short off of IMAX screen, and it's got, like 20 rows and whatever. I then saw The Running Man. They had recliner seats. They had a whole recliner screen. I've never had a Cineworld recliner before. Oh my god, they are the best recliners out there. Not sponsored. But my god, they're like full on like leather chairs. They make no noise when you like put them up and down, and they basically extend out to a bed. Fantastic experience. The place also has a bar, the Cineworld, like it's huge. But then I went to see Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I
Now
think
you
I was
three
in
me.
screen. Now You Three Me, sorry. Um, I think I was in screen 12, something up on that numbers. Now, in the Edinburgh one, in most
That's
cinemas,
a
that
box in the Edinburgh one.
that's yeah, you get like four rows. I walk in. Oh, actually, prior to going in, a guy stops me, and I was like, "Oh, yeah." And he's like, "Oh, there's an emergency." My face must have done something because he went, "Oh no, 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 bud. It's screen 15 is there's an emergency. We're just checking it out." I was staring at him like, uh.
I know, yeah, I know why you're like how reactionary you are.
Well, I'm
So
sorry. I just finished Pirates of the Caribbean, and I had to bolt it because it was that much of a distance. So
there's an
I was like
emergency.
headphones
What?
on, like why am I being accosted right now? So, so anyway, he was like, "Are we letting other people in?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So I go in. I cannot tell you how big this screen was. It was. This is not going to be helpful for anybody listening, but the Glasgow Science Centre Museum. Do you know that screen?
I've not been to that.
Oh, basically a really, really tall, huge screen with maybe about 20 rows. It it was bigger, probably. It was a different configuration, but it was as big as our biggest screen, probably in Edinburgh. It was huge. And this was like random screen number 11 or 12, 13, whatever. Unreal. I actually was like taken aback when I walked in. I was like, fucking hell. Anyway, turns out there are bigger cinemas just if you look for them. Not. I'm just so surprised when I spoke to you about the Leicester Square one being like literally 4 rows and the tiniest screens you've ever seen.
You were complaining about the cinemas in London, but you hadn't been to that many at that. You still haven't been to that many, right?
Uh, I've been to no, I've been to a lot.
Well, have you been? Have you done the Prince Charles yet?
Mhm.
Because I
So
quite like that one.
I've done multiple screens in the Picture House Central. I've done a Curzon Soho, done Prince Charles. I've done the View, the Cineworld, and the Odeon in Leicester Square. I've done the BFI South Bank, multiple screens in there. I've done the BFI IMAX. I've done the Cineworld O2. I've done my fair share.
But your complaint was what the size of them.
My complaint was, well, complaint again. It really was. It was just an observation, I guess. Like, was the Cineworld in Leicester Square. I just thought Leicester Square was like the place for cinema, but
Yeah,
like I think it's the place for hosting the premieres. So each of them has one massive screen that they use, and I'm going to hedge a bet. I don't know about the Odeon or the View, that the other screens are just probably small screens that they can just fit in those buildings because they're not that big. It really shocked me when I went to the Cineworld and people, have spoken about Leicester Square as being the cinema place, and for it to be literally a cinema that somebody could have in a like a basement of a house, and it would be like you wouldn't like
yeah,
be shocked.
yeah. I do
Um,
remember. I don't. I mean, outside of the cinemas in Leicester Square, I don't think Leicester Square is that nice of a bit.
no,
So yeah, I remember wandering over, being like, "This is where the freaking premieres are held." This seems like a bit of a shithole. Went in
yeah.
to the Odeon, and that's when I watched Thor, and that was a massive screen. So I'm assuming that would have been the one because it was Thor in
Oh,
IMAX, I think. So that would have been like the premiere screen, but that was not a good experience because again, I had a Londoner next to me on their phone for like the whole fucking film.
was it in IMAX?
I think so.
Because like the VistaVision screen, I don't know if that is normally IMAX
Was it one that
or
had
if
like
it's.
shit ton of rows, big like raised bit, and then a shit ton of rows?
Oh yeah, like a theater.
Yeah, yeah, probably
Yeah,
was that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Not a cool movie to have seen, and not cool for someone to be on their phone, but you know. Now you see,
Yep.
now you three me. The gang are back, guys. The four horsemen are at it again, trying to save the world from corrupt billionaires. Our
But is it?
favorite.
It's seven now.
Get ready. It might be more.
Great.
In this movie, we start and we see three new magicians that have banded together, a group of like ragtag kids that have decided to put on a performance of the Horsemen without their consent. They've decided to use projections and technology to simulate a performance of the Horsemen, and they perform tricks and they basically try to steal money and do their own wealth distribution shows posing as the Horsemen. Our horsemen find out about this though and get tricked into all coming together by the Eye. And anybody who's not seen the movies before, the Eye is the overseeing all-encompassing organization, the magic
Mark Ruffalo.
organization that it's Mark Ruffalo.
It's just Mark Ruffalo.
um, Honestly, I don't know. Having watched these three back to back as well, I don't think these movies know what the eye is, apart from
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo.
I think when I watched two, I
Um,
was like, what happened to the other stuff?
Sidetrack two. The whole thing in number one is that uh, I was going to use his character name, but his actual name is, to help everybody, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is unaware that Mark Ruffalo is the fifth horseman. Sorry, spoilers for Now You See Me 1 and 2. Um, and then in number two, Morgan Freeman is part of the Eye, so always knew that Mark Ruffalo was a horseman, and none of it adds up. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So you kind of have to just leave logic at the door with these movies.
Mhm.
This movie is asking you to do the same. Um, so the four horsemen team up with the three newbies to try and the plot of this is insane. To stop an insane South African diamond miner who owns a diamond mine corporation, played by Rosamund Pike. With her act, I will say, her South African accent is very good, but I think it is so good because she's trying to pronounce all the words that I just could see right through the accent the entire time. It was an experience. But they're trying to basically stop her by redistributing her wealth, and most of her wealth comes from the heart diamond, which is a diamond that was found naturally in the shape of a heart. It's the world's largest ever diamond, and their plan is to steal that to try and like bribe her and redistribute her wealth. Fun times. I will say, this movie is bad. It is not a good movie. I loved it.
I saw your review and I read like the first line of it, but I saw your rating mainly, and I was like, does this mean it's okay? And I think it's quite clear that it doesn't necessarily mean that, but like you still enjoyed it enough that it's on its own scale. It's on a Now You See Me scale.
Yep. Yes.
Um, do you reckon it's better or worse than two?
It's better than two. So it is
Okay.
not as good as one. It's better than two. And I actually think in some aspects it's better than the both of them, and in some aspects it's worse. I think what's good about this, and I now I'm going to preface this with, I didn't necessarily walk away with this opinion, but I saw a video after the fact and it made me think this way. So in the movie, they do a lot of magic, like the first two movies. My prime complaint rewatching those first two movies is that it's just nonsense. Like, it's not magic. It's superheroes, basically. The shit that they can do in those movies is just not practical. It's
Mhm.
CGI slop. In this movie, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, okay, this is like blah blah. It's the same like CGI bullshit. None of this is happening in real life. And then I saw a video that was like, we tried to do so much of this in camera and saw some of the tricks I actually thought were not possible, and they did them.
Mm.
So I reevaluated that slightly.
Nice.
Um, and I was like, okay, there is a degree of care put into the practicality of this magic that the other two movies don't necessarily have. And I did think that initially watching it as well. There was certain sequences that I was like, okay, cool. But there was other sequences that I was like, well, that's not real. And then it actually was. Um, there's a incredible sequence. It maybe is the best of the franchise. That is each of the horsemen. It's shot as a oneer. It's clearly not a oneer. You can clearly see the cuts, but it's shot as a oneer where each of the horsemen, and the horsemen now includes the three newbies because that saves me saying the newbies. Each of them like hand off to each other doing a classic magic trick, and it becomes like this like wonder where like there's seven magic tricks. It's a really cool sequence. They have a house, a central house that they go to in this movie that's like the magic house, that has interesting rooms that like make way for
I
like
can
interesting
see the
scenes and stuff.
trailer. Everything
Yeah.
you say, I can see the trailer. Like it's not, and it's not necessarily that they gave everything away in the trailer, but they've shown so much of it visually that you're saying things, and I'm like, oh yeah, the heart diamond, the house, the fact that like there's seven of them at once because the trailer starts off by going like the horsemen are dead, and in the same trailer they're like, no, they're not. Sorry, ran over.
um, I will say, and I wrote this in my review, this movie starts off horrendously. The first few scenes, I was like, is this how we're fucking getting introduced back into this world? I am not on board. I don't want to watch this movie. And slowly, they win me back over time. I grew very tired throughout the entire movie of the um, jokes from the original Horseman being like, "You kids don't know nothing," and then the kids being like, "Thanks, Gramps. Here's how it's done." That's a lot of the dialogue, and it's not particularly fun. But as time goes on and they loosen that up a bit, and you actually learn about the characters a little more, I think it gets a little more interesting. I think the three newbies are probably the better part of the movie. They're probably the better actors in the movie, which is saying
Great.
something. Dominic Sess is fun, cool to see him something after the leftovers. Ariana Greenblatt seems to be in everything. I don't know how that's possible. Um, but she has a fun action sequence. And then Justice Smith, who I really like in the things that I've seen him in, um, is really good here. He actually becomes kind of like the main of the three. He's probably like the main person of the movie. And I think that was a cool call. Rosamund Pike is so unbelievably villainy. It's like you have to laugh at it. I'm gonna spoil her opening sequence because I just have to. She's
Okay.
like, "Welcome to the board," and I'm not even. Her
Gal
accent is
Gadot.
like that, kinda. You board members. She's good
That's
German.
German.
Yeah. Um, she she gets the group of board members together and she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're." Oh, why I keep going into it? Stop. I'm so I'm I'm so glad you're all here. Because we're gonna make so much money with diamonds and whatever the fuck. And then she's like, "I'm open to thoughts." And the guy's like, "Well, I do have a thought. Like, maybe we should be doing things this way." And she goes, "Oh," and she walks over to him. Mind you, this is like a CEO of an actual business in the real world, as far as we're concerned. She goes over to him and goes, like, picks up a diamond and like holds it. By the way, at this point, there's about like tens of diamonds just lying on a table for
Awesome.
no reason. She picks up a diamond. She's like, "Stick out your tongue," and the guy's like, "What?" And she's like, "Stick out your tongue," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he sticks out his tongue. She puts the diamond on, and then like closes his mouth, and it's like, if he swallowed this right now, diamonds are some of the most like um whatever the fuck, like rough surfaces on planet Earth. It would tear his throats to shreds. Like she she goes into this villain monologue where she's like, it would kill him, and he's there like, who. And she takes like a little handkerchief, and then she like gets him. She's like, spit it out. So he spits out, and then she's like, any more questions? And everybody's like, oh, no, no. That is your introductory scene to a
Excellent.
person who's not meant to be villainous. I do. I'll give
I,
my quick wrap up thoughts here.
hang on. I love
Okay.
how the setup for that scene to get to that point is that she owns a diamond mine, so of course there's a whole long boardroom table where she lays out all of the diamonds, all
Oh,
of the intake for the past week.
by the
It's
way,
ridiculous.
not encased in anything. They're all on like three trays, and they're just like plopped on there.
Fuck's
It's
sake.
incredible. Um, I don't. There is some. So her character gets progressively more insane backstory wise. I don't want to spoil that. I don't know if you want it spoiled or if you're going to go see it.
I'll try and catch it.
Okay, so don't spoil it.
Please don't.
Okay, but I when you watch it, I need you to contact me and tell me when
Immediately?
you find out. Yes, her backstory is insane.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I will say I was kind of feeling like whatever about the movie, and then the final sequence happens. Oh, by the way, a little link up from last week. Uh, guess what song they play in the movie?
What were we talking about last week, song-wise? Well,
I may, I may, I may have sung it.
oh, at the start of I don't remember what it was, to be honest.
You
What
don't remember
song?
what at the end of the episode that you left in?
No, I don't remember what it was.
Okay, well, I guess you'll find out when you watch Now You See
Oh, so I have
Me.
to go back and watch the end of last week's episode.
You do. Um,
Excellent. What a great way to farm engagement, Jack. Get everyone to go back to
that's
last
all
week's
I'm doing.
episode.
Yeah. But when that song played in the cinema, I was actually quite sad. I was by myself. I was like,
Oh, because
this.
we could have done the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And the song plays for a while, but the last sequence, um, it's fun. It is kind of a rehash of the second movie. Whether or not it's been my mental state of the last week, um, or whatever, or the movie was actually genius, I was gagged by the ending. I was
Okay.
like, oh
The ending
fuck,
brings
okay,
the
that's
movie up.
yeah. It like capped off in a really nice way. I was like, okay, do you know what? There is a degree of intelligence here.
Jack,
Um,
the way that you've described this film is it's only an upward trajectory from the start.
yes, I would agree.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because like you get the horseman slow. Do you know what? You have
That's
fun. This movie's fun.
not what you expect from a film that's fine or like bad films. Like normally you can get like a strong 20 minutes and then it's almost like the whole team give up and suddenly the film falls apart. So it's interesting hearing it happen in the reverse.
There's like some. There's just like smart. Like I think they're quite smart with the ending. Yeah, I had fun. I had fun. A lot of fun with the movie.
Awesome.
Um, if you're a fan of the first two, I would recommend this. If you're a fan of silliness, I'd recommend this. Go with friends. That'd be fun. If you're looking for a good movie, don't go watch this.
I
There's so
reckon
many
I
things
should.
in the cinema.
I want to see Now You See Me 2 again before I go see it, that's all. And I need to sit down and watch Stranger Things, so timing's just a bit of an issue.
I mean, it'll be in cinemas. I don't know actually. It might be in cinemas for like a week or two because I forget. Like it's really big movies. You have Wicked, and then you have Zootopia 2.
Yeah, which fucking one is it in the UK? Is it
It's
Zootopia?
no, it's not. It's Zootropolis, but I'm pretty sure the copyright is only for Zootopia, and this can be called Zootopia 2 everywhere. Fun
Love that.
fact. Yeah. Um. But yeah, I'm sure you'll catch it. Maybe.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Just want to mention, because you went to see it too. Oh, yeah, did you say you wouldn't recommend it? Rating? I know what your rating is. You probably don't have to give it a rating because it's on its own scale. Um,
I'd give it a now you 3 me out of 5.
Moving on from that, Pirates of the
Oh my.
Caribbean was shown in the cinema. Did you only catch the last two? Or, sorry, the last two. We're going to speak about the films now as if there's only three films that exist and not five, because that's how
No,
it should
I
be.
caught 4 and 5. I was just desperate to see them. I was I was on a work call this morning and everybody was like I was like, maybe I should actually cut this out of the podcast, but I'll leave it in, and then I'll tell you more after. But I was on a work call where somebody was like, "Oh, how's everybody's weekends?" And I was like, "Oh, I went to see the Pirates of the Caribbean movies in the cinema," and then I was like, "Well, only two and three," and then somebody went, "Ah, the good ones."
Nice. Like universally recognized as,
Yeah,
I mean, the first three are the good ones.
the first four,
Um,
yeah,
first three.
the
All
first
Stranger
four,
Things
yeah,
is bad.
the first four.
Okay. Is that's one that has like a special place in your heart, 'cause like birthday or
Yes, it
something, isn't it?
is.
Because it was a May release, so of course that makes a lot of sense. And it was 2011. Yeah. Um. Anyway,
Sorry, 10 year
managed.
old me, you're telling me Captain Jack has a
Yeah, yeah,
doppelganger and it's Penelope Cruz.
yeah.
What the fuck?
Um, I managed to catch all three, even though I'd only seen The Curse of the Black Pearl like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Um, but it just what a wonderful experience. There was someone in my cinema dressed as Captain Jack,
Oh,
um, like a good get up, good cosplay, and someone at the back of
for
the
all
cinema
of
was
them?
like, just for the last one, he showed up, and there was someone at the back of the cinema that shouted, "Captain Jack, is that you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not in the mood for whatever the fuck this is going to be." Because I didn't know what she was screaming about. And then someone stands up with the whole get up and then does an impersonation.
Oh, like the.
But like the voice. And he says something along the lines of, you will remember you will all remember this as the day that you realized that you missed the first two in cinema or something, and it was timed perfectly because the film like everything started to dim down for the film to start, so it was like he got cut off because he was like a bit startled as that happened, then turned around and sat back down. Um, and then at the end, he like helped collect the rubbish. So we don't know if he works there or if
Oh,
he was just helping collect the rubbish because he was holding a black bin, you
huh.
know? Because he went down to stand. It's one of those screens. It was screen two in Edinburgh, so I had like the barrier at the
Hmm.
front, like the big
Hmm.
metal barrier for some reason, and he leant on that for a bit. And then when I looked back, he was holding the bin. So I think
Huh.
he was just maybe just helping out. But cool dude. I like thanked him, and he thanked me, and then as if he was like actually Captain Jack, and then wandered out. But I love little things like that.
Hmm. I think that's cute as well. When I saw Spider-Man No Way Home
Yep.
at I was going to say the Usher Hall at the Royal Albert Hall, which was nuts. It was in concert and it was so cool. There was people dressed up. There was a Doctor Strange though at the very front who had like he was in the whole thing and he had like light up like
That's cool.
rings
Yeah.
that looked like he was doing it. So everybody went up and got photos with him. It's just cool when there's experiences like that. Like, people
Yeah, for
clearly love
sure.
it.
And yeah, people just showing their love for like a franchise or whatever. Um, you're not ever allowed to go see a Spider-Man in concert without me again, though.
No, fuck that.
Um,
Sorry.
that's not
No.
allowed. Uh, no. Um, no, it's fine. But if there's a Beyond the Spider-Verse, if that's any good, we'll be seeing that together
Oh,
in
shall
concert,
we?
if possible. Um, if life permits. Um, would you like a question?
No. Thanks for listening.
How dare you? This is the episode where we cut each other off. Oh, okay. This question comes with a photo as well.
Okay.
Uh, okay. There's a quote from the Now You See Me 3 director for a reference to the question that's going to get asked.
Okay.
So the director said that no AI was used to visualize the magic tricks, and Now You See Me, Now You Don't. The opening sequence nods to deep fakes, I think you can assume the characters in the movie used AI to generate the holograms of the horsemen from scratch, but we did it the old-fashioned way, which was shooting them on green screen and then compositing them into the scene, which didn't require any AI whatsoever. The question on the back of that is discuss the dystopia of directors and cast members having to clarify that no generative AI was used in the making of their film, brackets, especially in CGI heavy films, close brackets.
Mm.
With the pace at which AI is progressing, do you think it will be assumed that AI is not used? This kind of contributes to the conversation we were having before we started recording about AI
Yeah,
inevitably getting used in everything. And
sadly.
yeah, and generative AI being kind of the hot one, I guess.
That that should be I there's no changing like public sentiment in the way that we use words and stuff, but I really think there should be an effort in clarifying generative AI
I
because especially in filmmaking already, I love Dune 2. I adore Dune Part 2. AI was used
Jack, I
in Dune
missed
Part
that.
2.
You cut out
What?
for a second.
Uh,
You said
um
generative AI and then suddenly June 2. So I'm not sure what happened
oh,
there.
okay. Um I need people to clarify that it's Gen AI when they're talking about AI because
Yeah.
AI is used in filmmaking already. Dune Part 2, a movie I adore, is a movie that uses AI. Now, if you just read that, I think with the way that we talk about AI at the moment, you'd be turned off by that fact. Well, some people would, some people wouldn't, but you'd be like, oh, what? They use AI? The AI used in that movie is somebody built a piece of software that tracks people's eyes in the movie so that it colors them with the spice. That's a program that has been made. That is somebody that has actually put effort into developing something that makes the art of filmmaking slightly easier. It's something to accompany the filmmaking instead
Hmm.
of something that's being generated out of thin air. Well, not out of thin air, out of models that have been trained on stolen work. That's the issue for me, is that it's devoid
Yeah.
of any artistic integrity.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not as fussed about it because like 99% of the time people are talking about generative AI because it's the big one. Um,
But is that not annoying? As somebody who has studied tech and knows a lot about tech, and is that not annoying?
uh, I'm not annoyed as much about it at this point because unfortunately, like in the same sense that the conversation is like 99% about Gen AI, like so is the money. Uh, Obviously that's maybe an exaggeration, but the 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 money is essentially getting funneled into doing like large language models and everything else that big companies like OpenAI do. Um, so when people are talking about that, I think it's a safe assumption to make. I think at least in conversation, maybe is maybe more the vein that I'm coming from because I have enough of these conversations with you and other people. I think maybe
Mm.
it's being specific about the language once you're writing stuff on the internet
Yeah.
is probably more what you're getting at, to be fair.
Or
Um,
like a statement from a director, like
yeah, yeah,
I didn't, I don't recall exactly the quote that you read there, but I'm pretty sure
yeah,
he just said AI, and at that
yeah. It
point,
might have
it's
done.
like, well, but AI is probably being used by um
It,
VFX houses to
mhm.
do some work. Surely at this point, do you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he mentions deep fakes, but uh, yeah, he says the movie. You can assume the characters in the movie use the AI to generate the holograms. Still, blah blah blah. We did it the old-fashioned way. I think it's enough if you're in the know. If you're reading the article, you probably understand.
I but very sell. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. If you've actually went to read it, but like, I think very few people understand AI. This is why I think this is getting so far away from that question. I can't even remember what it was, but like the way that we use words impacts the way that people feel about different things, and I think society at large is just lumping AI as this one thing,
Yeah,
and it isn't. like it is there's different facets and different ways that it can be used as a tool for good, but I think generative AI is not. Could you remind me of what the
The question.
question is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've kind of lost it as well because we just end up talking about AI. Um, discuss the dystopia of directors and cast members having to clarify that no generative AI was used. And then with the pace that AI is progressing, do you think it should be assumed that AI is not used? I think that should the question more likely should be with the pace at which AI is progressing, do you think it should be assumed that AI is used? Because if it's progressing so fast, I think it's a safe assumption that it would be getting used in places.
Okay. I think the idea that people have to come out and clarify, I think is a good thing because it is keeping the conversation alight of how people feel towards generative AI in their content from an artistic point of view, because I think a lot of the time it will be businesses that will be talking to consumers at large, and they are always going to be for it because it is a money mine for them, because they can pump out as much mindless content as they want once AI gets to a point that it's able to do that. So I think to have artistic voices come out and specify is only a good thing because it will be seen as a retort towards the studio system that is so gung ho for this kind of stuff. But uh, I don't know how much power that has. I think it still does have power because then people will maybe be like, Guillermo del Toro does not want to work with AI. Our studio has been using AI for however long. We're never going to get Guillermo to make a movie for us, and perhaps there is like some sort of relationship there, but that falls upon like huge names to be outspoken about AI, and I think Guillermo del Toro is one of these people who's advocating for it really profoundly, which I really respect him for, despite how I feel about when he's been on the Frankenstein press tour. I love that he's talking about things in this way,
Mm.
despite how you feel about that movie. I still think though it needs to come from like a union side as well. And I know that SAG, which is the Actors Guild of in the States, they've been quite outspoken about AI being used for various things. They put rules in place for how much studios can pay and if AI can be used and whatever. So I would encourage that to keep going. SAG's interesting though because they obviously had strikes and stuff, and part of it was to do with AI a while back. But SAG has different strands, and AI was then being used like a lot. I can't remember the exact video game that was an example, but it was being used a lot in video games. So SAG, the video game branch, went on strike because they wanted to protest um, AI being used in video games because they're like, are you deeming this a lesser medium because it's being used more uh, more in video games? So I think there just needs to be constant conversation around it to make sure that there are checks in place, and I think it's only a good thing. But I don't know how much of an impact that's going to do on the system moving forward because at the end of the day, it isn't these people who are in charge; it's the people who are up top and they only think about money. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying because essentially you were saying you don't know how much it matters. I guess directors and actors and things saying all of those things. But yeah, I do think like storytelling and culture matters. The more people that hear it and then more people that understand it, the more there will be a pushback in general. Things will start slow, unfortunately, but if we keep talking about it, then it grows faster and faster, and people understand the issues with it more. And the question discuss the dystopia. The only other thing I'd have to say on that, because you were like, oh, I definitely think it's a good thing that directors are coming out and elaborating that they're not using it because then it gets the conversation going in the opposite direction.
Mhm.
The only thing I'd say on that is I wish they didn't have to. I just wish
Sure,
the
but like
technology
it's
wasn't.
the reality of the world, isn't it? Like
Yeah, yeah.
We have but like apps that are literally just AI video feeds. What is it? I mean, as Owen alluded to, we were speaking about this earlier. I think we could both speak about this for an entire episode. Like it's
I mean, I went
something
off on
that's
a
a
wee, I had a wee AI bit when we were talking about The Brutalist at the start of the
oh
year.
yeah.
Um, it is something that we both care about quite a lot. So,
What was the next part of that? The thing.
I don't know, it was a loaded question. Uh, with the pace at which AI is progressing, do you think it should be assumed
Oh,
that AI
oh.
is not used? Which I think should be assumed that it would be used.
I
Um,
believe that that depends on how the societal perception of AI moving forward. I think right now, no,
hmm.
because there's still a backlash. If that backlash turns, then yes. Like it is so dependent on where we are at as a culture. I don't think you can give an answer to that.
I think there is a backlash, but because we all live in like our wee online bubbles, I'm wondering how much of it reaches like studio execs.
So interestingly, and I encourage people to read about this or to watch a TikTok. The Coca-Cola ad that was made recently, it was made fully with Gen AI. It took something stupid, I don't want to get the numbers wrong, but like 700,000 prompts to generate
Mm.
that. And if you like turned that into hours of work and money and blah blah blah, it was not cost effective at all for them to produce it. But I can't even remember who published it or whatever, but there's a whole bunch of graphs out there where people surveyed how they felt about it, whether or not they thought it looked good, and all these different things. And it was general public. The sentiment towards it was very negative across the board. People were just not happy. So, as much as, and I agree with you, sometimes it does feel like a little bit like a bubble.
Mm.
I think I'm reminded of that a little bit more as I talk to like more new people. You're like, oh, people just do not care about the same things as you do. But I think seeing studies like that and the general consensus around AI, and I imagine that's probably because people are having to get used to it very quickly. People don't like change. People don't like to learn new tech
Mm.
quick. I have experience working from my working years as a teen, learning that people do not like to learn things quickly. They don't like that being forced upon them. So I imagine that's part of the sentiment when they're being asked these things.
Coca-Cola, I think, is also a special case because they had a stunt of generative AI last year, and I think they got backlash and decided to keep going.
Yeah.
I think they
Well,
heard
yeah.
it and decided they were going to push on forward anyway.
Well, this is the thing. It's like kind of like the Running Man thing. It's like there's been so many movies this year that actually feel this way, and I'm like, it just reinforces the idea of how frustrated you can be about society at the moment. But you can express a collective sentiment as a people and still not be listened to by people who have money.
That's true.
Um,
But Apple have made a good move, at least in terms of marketing, because they have that new opening for Apple TV, which is entirely
yes. Yeah.
handmade and practical, and it's almost like an answer to what we were talking about. So it's not reaching no one, but unfortunately, it seems like across the board, it's still one-sided, the AI way.
You make a good point. I actually think that's probably the most likely scenario is you have two diverging paths and it's the studios and stuff that don't care about the artistic integrity and the studios that do. And then you really have this like um kind of like a I guess a competition. Because if then like society does express a discontent with AI and Gen AI, and there are like say Universal decides to make half their catalog AI generated, and people really backlash towards that, and then they go, well, I'm only going to support stuff that Apple TV makes because they produce things that are like real. And I don't know. I think Apple TV though, I think that's a special case because it premiered with Pluribus. Um, which I don't know if you know Pluribus. Okay, it's Vince Gilligan's new show, who made Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. His new show is out on Apple TV Plus, and that is very anti-AI as a show. So and I'm pretty sure their intro premiered with that TV show. So you wonder if it's also from a business point of view, if somebody's went, well, the viewers of this show are going to express discontent towards AI, so let's like hop on that
Mm.
trend. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's yeah,
I do wonder. I have wondered for a little while if we're going to end up in. Well, I think as we're at a point in time where we feel like authenticity matters, and I am wondering if we're going to get to a point where that's going to become like a further narrative, um, and we'll have companies and businesses and maybe studios, um, or creators, and their whole thing is that this is human made.
yeah.
Um, and it's
That's what I
yeah,
mean, like the diverging paths,
yeah. No, I have wondered that for some time, but I worry that that's going to be like 10% versus 90.
as in 10% authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like it's right. It's like the exact same thing of like there's no original stories. When people say that, there absolutely is. What are you on about? The reason people say that is because the things that are financed are often not the original stories. They're
Hmm.
the big blockbusters, the things that are going to make money. Indie filmmaking's there. There's cinemas, independent cinemas, and smaller cinemas showing the types of movies that you perhaps crave for. It's just more difficult. That's the thing. It's not convenient. Anyway, that was an interesting question, and I honestly think we could talk about this for donkeys. So,
Yeah, probably.
yay.
It's not a very happy
Anyway,
conversation.
no, it's not. I think AI is always a bit meh at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you so much for listening to this. Wow, my mouth stopped working. This week's episode of Plot to Go. Next week. Oh, it's time.
I'm quite excited for it. My
Help
tickets are
Batra,
booked,
I know you're
maybe.
out there.
Whoa!
Come in before the monkeys get you.
Every time I see the trailer, I'm like, ah, fuck, I can quote this. I've seen it too many times.
Are you worried about
Um,
how much you're going to enjoy the film?
am I worried?
Well, have you seen the like actual theater production of it?
No.
Okay, I mean neither have I, but like obviously the second part is the weaker part. Um, and
Right.
apparently the film is the same.
Oh, says who?
I the internet.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I've only seen little bits and bobs, but the things that I've seen have been generally positive towards the movie.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Also, it's expanding on the show.
Show.
There's like, yeah,
A
there's
theater
there's
show.
new stuff. There's new stuff in this part. I don't know. I watched the Wicked special. I think I spoke about it last week. But like, I was tearing up at one of them songs, and it's from the new movie. So like, I'm seated for that.
All right. All right.
Something I don't know. I'm excited.
That's all we've got next week, though, isn't it?
Yes, it's a big old Wicked week.
Sounds good to me.
Um, yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go try go to like a really late showing, so I'm not like in a crowd of a million people sitting there crying watching it.
That's funny.
Uh, anyway. If you like this, give it a like and subscribe, or follow us on
YouTube,
and
Spotify,
and
Apple Podcasts,
and
Instagram,
and
TikTok.
yay! And we'll catch you on the flip side.
I'm so glad you said that. That's what came into my brain.
And away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Catch you on the flip side.